Hey, what is up, everybody? My name is Nick Holden, and I'd like to welcome you to the ACGL Breakdown, and I'm here today with TheaBeasty. How are you doing, Thea?
I'm doing very great, Nick. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good this side, and what's quite interesting is that I don't think our audience really knows you just yet, and neither does a big part of South Africa, but you're doing some epic things at the moment. So just to highlight, I believe from your side of things, you're currently working as a shoutcaster for the CD Projekt Red's The Witcher card game, essentially. Tell me, from a Gwent perspective, I know the community relatively well from the South African side, just thanks to some of the work history. Can you tell me, what are you getting up to on your side when it comes down to Gwent?
Well, I've been playing Gwent now since 2016 when it became a standalone game from The Witcher 3. But to me, it was always like just Gwent, as that's all I played while doing The Witcher 3, which was side quests mostly. But it became a standalone game, and from there on out, I started trying to play a bit competitively, but timing was always a little bit of constraint, and I didn't have enough time to grind away. But I did get involved with some community tournaments, and I started casting those with my partner Lionheart in the Gwent industry. And from there on out, I am now casting for CDPR, which is amazing. I'm having a great time doing it.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely awesome. The fact that, when did you start from the casting side of things? I think we mentioned around about 2020, is that correct?
Yeah, 2020, right when Corona happened and things are getting a bit dull here at home. So I picked up the mic and started helping out with some community-based tournaments and just went from there.
That's fantastic. To see that acceleration from your side of things to be essentially just casting, to trying it out, to being able to actually work your way towards the international scene. And I believe one of those events that you worked on recently was the Gwent Open. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was the first Open of the year. We would have flown to Poland and everything done in the studio, but unfortunately the borders are still closed. So we did it online with like 9,000 people watching. It was very intense, but at the end of the day, it was a lot of fun.
So this, since the acceleration happened so quickly, this must have taken you to almost take a step back and go, is this something now I can pursue as a career opportunity? How is this going to change my life going forward? Can you take us through that experience and how big this has impacted your life?
Well, quite a bit actually. Because the idea was never monetary compensation. I just did it for the teams. I didn't get paid ever. And I didn't approach CDPR. They approached me out of the blue asking if I wanted to try out for the Open. And I said yes. And yeah, when I received my first paycheck, I realized, yeah, I can do this my entire life. This is a viable job. And it's scary because I'm currently a student. I'm studying psychology.
Whoa.
So yeah, so you kind of have to ask yourself, all right, this is a hobby. It's a hobby that pays. But perhaps in the future it can be more than that if I really wanted to. I can see that being a viable option, actually.
Absolutely. And at the moment, in terms of balancing studies as well as doing the work, are you finding that that's an easy juggle to maintain, or are you finding that quite tricky?
A little bit of both. I'd like to say it's a weird setup because I'm streaming as well. So when I prep for casting, I'm playing the game while interacting with an audience. Oh well, my community, and so I'm sort of hitting two birds with one stone. So I'm socializing. It means I don't have to go out, in order to get my serotonin going. I just interact with the community. I play Gwent while streaming, and yeah, so you can sort of make it work if you make sure you use your mind while doing it. You try and make it productive whilst you're playing the game, I guess.
100%. I like that, hitting two birds with one stone. But ultimately, one of the things that you're talking about is that you had an opportunity, or well, yes, if it wasn't for COVID, you would have had the opportunity to fly overseas to Poland to be able to participate as a shoutcaster in your very own right at that live event. Obviously, doing things from home is great, but going forward, this is really a unique opportunity to be able to have these experiences. I'm sure you can't wait for these things to come forward, right?
I'm so excited. I seriously can't wait. It's really something if you live in South Africa, as you'd know. Flying abroad is such a costly expense as well because the nearest countries are all over abroad across the ocean. So having sort of this opportunity to now go abroad because it's your job, it's so I don't know. It's inspiring in a way. It
Yeah.
really opens up your future for potential. Yeah, for potential.
That's perfect. I mean, further going forward, I mean, your aspirations, that door, I mean, you've kicked open so much so early on, which I think is fantastic. Have you really sat down and thought about how you're going to be able to shape this going forward? What do you want to be able to do? Has this taken your aspirations down maybe a psychology path initially, now towards, I don't know, I can be a Gwent psychologist in some point of view, but even taking that further from a casting perspective, what's your aspirations and dreams on that side?
I think I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm being realistic. So my classes end in December, then I'll have my honors degree.
Oh, wow.
And then I want to go abroad and do my masters, but abroad classes only start September. So I'm thinking, all right, I've got until September next year. I can cast the whole year until then, and then we'll see how viable it is. And by then I should have a clearer picture of whether I'm working for CDPR permanently, if I might be casting for other companies as well. I know some people they cast all over the world,
yeah.
And just for anyone who's willing to hire them. So I'm not sure yet how that works, but it might be something I pursue at some point.
That's awesome. And just going forward, I mean, if you could give any advice to some of the casters of tomorrow, maybe from a South African perspective, where do they need to start? How do they get involved?
Well, yeah, we need to start gaming competitively, make sure it's a game you actually like. Now with Gwent, you have a lot of lore, so if you like The Witcher, it's right there. You know what to do, and start playing, making connections, make friends, and from there on up, you can start helping out in the community. And once you've done that, then the next step will inevitably be casting. Maybe not monetarily at first, but that shouldn't be your goal. That shouldn't be the goal, but it could be where you end up if you do the job correctly, I think.
100%, and I think you're a shining example of that. So congratulations, TheaBeasty, from your side of things. I do want to find out from how can people get hold of you if they want to be able to follow your journey, follow your commentary, and just being able to see you do what you do best.
Okay, well, TheaBeasty is my name on Twitch. It's the only one that wasn't taken. So you can find me there. You can also go on Twitter. I am Tia Boysen. That's Booysen. That's just my real name. And yeah, you can find me there if you ever want to interact with me, or you want to get started in Gwent or anything like that. Feel free to hit me up and I'll see how I can help.
And you heard everybody at home, it's Tia, not Thea, as I've been saying throughout the call. But Tia, from my side of things, it's been an absolute pleasure to be able to chat to you. Thank you so much for joining us here today. And we'll be sure to be able to see you on the Gwent side of life very soon, I'm sure. Cheers.
Thanks for having me, Nick, and thanks for listening, guys.